Okay, so once again, my name is Sean Sloan. I am a recruitment manager with St. John's University, and I'm here today to talk about study in New York City and New York State, and a bit about St. John's University as well. Thank you again to EducationUSA and Jamila for this wonderful opportunity to speak with great students from Uzbekistan. I've really been looking forward to this. So with that, let's start. Here's the New York City that you're picturing. It is a wonderful place. It is one of the capitals of the world, a city full of opportunity, possibilities, excitement, and much more. So we'll get into that a little bit today. So again, nice to meet you. This is me. My name is Sean Sloan. I am a recruitment manager with St. John's University. This is my email. I encourage students to reach out to me if you're applying or if you have any questions about college application process, specifically to St. John's, but really just anything in general. You are welcome to email me with any questions that you have. We'll also have some time at the end of today's meeting for questions. So again, welcome to New York. This is the New York City subway map. The large St. John's logo under Queens, the word Queens, is our main campus. This is St. John's University in Queens, New York. The New York City subway system is extensive. It is fantastic. It gets you all over the city. You see that we are not in the center of downtown Manhattan. We're not in the center of New York City. We're in a residential neighborhood in the outer parts of the city, connected by the subway system. We do have a small campus in Manhattan in the center, and this is for business students in their last years of their degree only. We do have many, many programs, business being some of the best, but we'll discuss all of them later. Now, the reason I said on the first slide, that's the New York City that you're picturing. This is the New York City that you're not picturing. This is St. John's University's beautiful, over 100-acre, very large green campus in Queens, New York City. So this is New York City. Again, it's a residential neighborhood, so it's different from, the skyscrapers of downtown Manhattan. But students at St. John's really get the best of both worlds in terms of location when it comes to this large American-style college campus with New York City at your fingertips. Again, you are in New York City. So I like to just stress how wonderful this is. And then before we get into more information about New York and other institutions, I just want everybody to be aware that St. John's University also has campuses in Europe. We have one in Rome and one in Paris. We also have a location in Limerick, Ireland. And in Rome, students have the opportunity or the option to start their bachelor's degree with one semester in Italy before moving on to New York City. This is completely optional and only for international students who are applying for their first year at St. John's University. You still would apply to our New York campuses, to Queens, New York. But then if you're admitted, you will have the option to start in Rome. Okay, so just very briefly, when I talk with students about how to choose the institution that's the best fit for them, it sounds like somebody is unmuted. I'm going to ask you to please mute. Okay, great. These are the 5 categories that I tell students to think about when deciding what's the best fit institution for them. Today, we're focusing on location or geography, New York. So that's why I have that centralized today. But that's just one consideration, obviously, when deciding which colleges to apply to. Obviously, you want to look at majors, in other words, the topics that you're looking to study, the cost, the activities available like sports and other clubs, the size of the institution, and again, coming back to geography. Now, as students coming from Uzbekistan, no matter where you study in the United States of America, if you do go there to study, it will be something which had nothing to see it will be far from your home, but that's okay. And what I want to stress is that New York City is much closer than most other parts of the United States of America, also because it is the home of 3 large airports, and there are many direct flights all over the world. There's also less of a time difference to New York compared with other parts of the United States, though quite a large time difference. Okay, so with all that, let's get to know New York City a little bit and why we think it is a perfect place to live and study. So let's get to know the city. New York City is home to over 8 million people in 5 boroughs. A borough is just another word for section of the city or part of the city. A borough is much bigger, larger than a neighborhood. So Queens, New York, where we are based, is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. The main central borough being Manhattan, where all the skyscrapers are. So New York City is known for our arts in that, we're known for Broadway, so performing arts, theater. There's also many, many smaller scale theaters as well. We're also known for fine arts, everything from small art galleries to some of the world leading museums. New York really has it all when it comes to art. So if you're interested in anything related to art, New York is a great place for you. We're also known for our food. This is probably not a reason to study in New York, but I like to mention this because it goes hand in hand with another thing that I'll talk about, which is our diversity in New York. New York City is really home to the world. It has got to be one of the most diverse cities on the planet. The best way for me to explain this just briefly is that New York City recently applied to have the Olympic Games come to New York. In the application, New York was proud to say, we represent the world just like the Olympics. In fact, in our public school system, we have every single country, with the exception of 3, that compete in the Olympic Games, also represented in our student body population of our public school system. So again, New York is really just this wonderful place that is home to the world. The food is wonderful, with just diverse food from all over the world and some of the best at that. Now, we're also known as the city of opportunity. This could be a wonderful reason to think of living and studying in New York. As an international student, you do have the ability to work part-time during and for a short period after your studies as part of your student visa. You do have to get, there are these work programs called CPT and OPT. These are acronyms for the ability to work on your student visa. It is temporary and part-time, but the connections that you can make while studying and working in New York lead you to job opportunity all over the world. We are the home of Wall Street, major finance companies, but also big time media, advertising, television, pharmacy, and much, much more. So many of the biggest corporations in the world are headquartered in New York. And coming back to diversity, that's what I like the most about New York. You can learn about cultures from all over the world. No matter where you're from, you can make it feel like home. You can meet people from your home. It's just, in every way, in terms of cultural background, religious background, and everything else, New York is home to the world. And St. John's is as well. We do have over 1,000 currently enrolled international students coming from all over the world, really South America, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, Africa. If I didn't mention parts of the world, we cover them as well. I encourage you to apply to St. John's. We've had over now nearly 200, I want to say over 100 applications from Uzbekistan this year. And the number just keeps increasing every year. We do have currently a handful of students from Uzbekistan currently enrolled, with 2 students starting from Uzbekistan at St. John's University last year. But I do expect that number to continue growing steadily based on the number of applications and admissions. So we cannot wait to say welcome to New York City. It's truly a wonderful place. And with that, I'm just going to list and briefly discuss, oops, sorry about that, a few of the other private institutions in New York City and New York State, sorry. Now, St. John's, we are a private institution along with these other ones. There are several more. This is just to list a few. Our application is free of charge. Sorry, I just noticed in the chat, somebody mentioned application is free. Yes, that is correct. Our undergraduate application at St. John's University is free of charge. I'll get into that later in the presentation. Just looking at this list, again, there are many, many more. Columbia University is the highest ranked university in New York State. New York University is also very, very highly ranked, most likely in the top 10. So is Cornell. I would say those are the 3 academically highest ranked and most competitive institutions in New York. St. John's University is also very highly ranked and well respected academically. So I highly encourage you to consider us as well. If you're thinking many international students only know of New York University, well, I encourage you to apply to New York University. It's a fantastic institution. I actually attended there myself. I attended New York University and St. John's, one for my bachelor's, one for my master's. I got a comparable education, wonderful professors at both institutions. I can say that from firsthand experience. And also, most students, I hate to be blunt about it, but most students are not able to gain acceptance to New York University and Cornell. So while you may want to apply to them, I do encourage you to apply to St. John's as well. While we're also quite competitive and difficult to get into, we have a much higher acceptance rate than these other ones that I'm mentioning. And we also provide much higher scholarships to many more students. These are all wonderful institutions. If I didn't mention some of them, I put them on here because I highly regard them all. Okay, CUNY is referred to as CUNY. This is an acronym for the City University of New York. It's a network of public city universities. They are less expensive, they're less competitive, but they're still a quality education. You could look into these. Just a map to show you there are several of them scattered throughout New York City. I want to get through the presentation. So if students are typing in the chat, I do appreciate that. That's great. I'm going to come to the chat now after I'm done with the presentation. We'll have time then. So I've covered New York City sufficiently for now. Let's get into New York State. New York is a much larger area than just New York City. And there is also what's called SUNY or SUNY, the State Universities of New York. There are several of these as well. These are public institutions. Excuse me, they also tend to be more affordable, though some of them are comparable. So let's just look at a map of these. The best or most competitive and most known would be Binghamton University, some parts of Cornell University, Buffalo, and Albany. If you have questions about these public school networks, please go ahead and ask me after. This is an interesting website that I recommend you take a look at. It'll help you to find the best fit institution or university for you in New York. So within New York, based on some criteria that you're interested in, this website will give you a nice idea of which institutions you should consider applying to. And so with that, I just say again, we're waiting for you in New York. It's really a beautiful place, full of opportunities, and I can't encourage you more to consider New York as one of the destinations that you would apply to for university. So let's bring the focus back to you, which is what we say at St. John's University. The focus is on the student. And I'd like to just take these last few minutes to tell you a little bit more about my institution, which is St. John's University. Again, we're based in New York City, but in Queens, New York, in a residential neighborhood in one of the outer boroughs of New York City. And so you see, we have nice views of downtown Manhattan. You can see our students on campus in this beautiful garden area at sunset, looking at the Manhattan skyline. It's not that far away. It's quite easily accessible by public transportation. We're a large institution. We have over 17,000 currently enrolled undergraduate students. Again, over 1,000 of them are international students, but that number doesn't really tell the full truth about our diversity in terms of country of origin of students, because many of our students, while they are from the United States of America, maybe first generation in the United States, or their parents were, and so they have parents and family who come from other countries. And so even a large portion of our US citizen student population has ties or roots in other countries. Ignore the 47 on the next number. That's just the number of US states our students come from. But the next number, 123, is the number of countries represented in our student body. And I think that's an amazing number. We have a 17-to-1 student to faculty ratio. That means for every 17 students, there's one professor. This means smaller class sizes, more attention on the students. We're a large sports school. We also provide scholarship in sport to top athletes only. We are an NCAA Division I sports institution, which means our athletic teams compete at the very highest level of sport competition, collegiate, college sport competition in the US. I will be hosting an entire webinar on NCAA sports and sport scholarships for EducationUSA Uzbekistan, and that will be in May. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but if you're interested in that, please stay tuned, stay in touch with EducationUSA Uzbekistan for my next webinar, which again is coming soon and is on sports and sports scholarships. So other than these top level sports teams, we also have lots of student-run organizations or clubs on campus. So there are plenty of different activities that students can get involved in, including amateur level sports or lower level amateur sports. Even NCAA is considered amateur sport, though it is at a high level. So what I'm talking about now we have club sports and intramural sports. In other words, sports at every level. If you can't play on one of our institutions' NCAA teams, you could surely play for one of our club teams. You can even start a new club if we don't offer the sport that you're interested in. We have a large alumni network. St. John's has been around for over 150 years, which is really long time for a US-based institution. And we're in New York. So this large alumni network based in New York City really just leads to amazing job opportunity. And we do a great job with career placement and career services for our students. This is our university college and major breakdown. And what I mean is that St. John's University, being a large university, is subdivided into 5 different colleges. They're listed here on this screen, the main largest one being the one in the middle, the St. John's College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, where we offer all of the typical liberal arts and science programs that you would imagine, lab-based sciences like biology, chemistry, biochemistry, and much more, biotechnology. But we also offer all the liberal arts courses. And if you're not familiar with that term, I mean like humanities, things like English literature, but also philosophy, theology, and much more. Some of our best programs come from our College of Business and our pharmacy, our College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. They are our highest academically ranked programs. Hand in hand, sorry, I got stuck on the term there, but our other higher ranked program, and one of the most popular, would be computer science. We have excellent computer science programs with several different tracks that students can choose from. So we have computer science with a cybersecurity track. That's very interesting to many students. We have computer science with a business track. We have computer science with a healthcare informatics track. So, and there's 1 or 2 others as well. There's also just a general computer science program. So, and these are very popular with students from Uzbekistan. I do see most students from Uzbekistan applying to our business and computer science programs, which is wonderful. I also encourage you to look at our many other programs available. We do have over 100 different bachelor's programs to choose from. And I would just mention that some of the more unique, if I'm losing your attention, this is to try to gain it back. Do you like to play video games? And if so, have you ever considered a career in video game design? Because we have an entire bachelor's program dedicated to that. If you see on the bottom of the screen, the picture of our video game design lab. There are so many interesting programs to look at. Take a look at, Google St. John's University majors or St. John's University find a program, and you'll easily be able to look through all our programs. Another interesting one is if anybody is passionate about environmental sustainability, if you ever considered a career in making a difference and helping the environment, we have entire bachelor's degrees in that as well. So, environmental sustainability programs. So just so many different programs to choose from. Many are new and unique and exciting. Many are the core programs that have been offered for years and have just been improving. Again, I encourage you mainly to look at our business and computer science programs, but please take a look at everything. Just one shot of campus, the St. John's campus. This is a dormitory behind the students. So it is optional to live on campus. You can live on our campus, or you can find your own housing and commute to campus. But you see here, students just relaxing on a nice day, playing casual basketball. It's a wonderful place. You'll easily meet other students. Here's some outcomes. And what I find interesting about this slide is that I need to update it. I don't have the 2022 outcomes yet. But from our class of 2021, which I want you to remember is obviously pretty much right at the height and the middle of the pandemic, we still have excellent reviews. So let's look at the 90% first. And that just means over 90% of our graduates from the class of 2021 were either hired, like employed, or enrolled in a graduate program within 6 months of graduating from their undergraduate program. So that's wonderful. That number is typically about 95%, but even in the height of the COVID pandemic, the number still remained at 90% or slightly above. So that just really shows you what a great job St. John's does with employment and career services. On the bottom of this slide are some of the companies that we work with. You'll see all the top big accounting firms like Deloitte and PwC, which is PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, Ernst & Young. But then you'll also notice entertainment, sports, and much, much more. Pharmacy. Again, this is just a very small sample of the companies where our students are employed and companies that we work with very closely. Over 96% of our students, even during the height of the pandemic, said they would recommend St. John's University. Our students come out happy a vast majority of the time. It's really a wonderful community and place to study. Our application is free of charge. We also do not have a hard deadline. In other words, we offer rolling admission. So application is still open and will continue to be for this coming entry cycle. In other words, to start at St. John's in late August of this year for what we call our fall 2023 semester. You could still apply now and start this fall. We do offer early decision and early action, which deadlines have already passed for this coming year. They were in November and December. If you're thinking about applying to St. John's for the following year and you want to apply early, take note of those deadlines. Otherwise, again, you can apply anytime. There are two specific programs that have deadlines and do not offer rolling admission. They're noted below, excuse me. That's our pharmacy program and our biooptometry program. The application is fairly straightforward and simple, and I'm here to help you with it. And I assist many students from all over the world. Primarily this year, students from Uzbekistan. I've had so many applications and I'm happy to help. So I understand the college application process in the United States is quite complicated. It's slightly different at many different institutions, though similar. So I'm here to help. You'll have my email. If you apply to St. John's, you can start the application, submit it online. Don't worry if you've submitted everything, and just send me an email and say, hi, I've applied. Can you please check on my application status and let me know what I'm missing? But what you'll need to submit is very simple. I need to see your high school transcripts, and this is typical at all US institutions. We need to see 4 years of high school transcripts leading to your graduation. Now, I understand that in Uzbekistan, you graduate after 11th grade. So we need to see 8th grade as well. Many Uzbek students from Uzbekistan don't understand this and they submit 9th and 10th grade. But we need 11th grade as well. Even if it's not done, we need an in progress or mid-year, midterm report from your last year, 11th grade. And we also need 8th grade. I realize it's not offered in the same program in your country. So we understand that your academic system is different from ours, but we do need to see the equivalency of a US high school degree, which requires 4 years of study. And I do need to see 4 years of grades. So if you're currently still enrolled in school, I need to see a unique transcript from each year. For students who have already graduated, I do understand that it's not always possible to get a transcript from each year if you've already finished at school. In those cases, most of the time, I can accept your diploma certificate that you've received from after 9th grade and after 11th grade. But again, if you're currently still enrolled in school, those 2 diploma certificates are not enough. I do need to see also specific grades to each year. I also need to see official English translations of all of these transcripts. They cannot be self-translated. Okay. And again, while I'm talking specifically about St. John's University, I think this is a good standard when applying to all universities in the United States. You want to think about providing grades specific to your 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. And when I say providing grades, I mean your marks, your results. We will also need a standardized test. So we need a test score. And for most students coming from other countries, That test score is an English language proficiency exam. SAT, the typical standardized test that you need to apply to university in the United States, is called the SAT. There's another one called the ACT. Well, SAT and ACT have become optional at St. John's University and at many other universities. Some still require it. So some institutions will require SAT or ACT. We will not. But if you don't submit SAT or ACT, then we do need English language proficiency. So in other words, when SAT, ACT is optional, we lump all of the exams together, including the English language proficiency, and we just need one of any of those. Other materials are all now considered optional. Things like your personal essay and letters of recommendation are now optional. I highly recommend that you do submit these things. It gives us a better, well-rounded, clear picture of the student. So we offer extremely generous merit-based scholarships. Sorry, this should be updated. That is incorrect. I'm very sorry about that. They do not go up to full tuition, but they do go close. So merit scholarship can cover about 2/3 of tuition. Again, I apologize. This is incorrect on the slide. Merit scholarships do not cover up to full tuition, but it is possible, though unlikely, to get a full tuition scholarship when you combine merit scholarship with another scholarship. So we have what we call application program scholarships. So you can apply to one of these scholarship programs, the ones in red. If you receive one of these other scholarships, it can be combined with the merit scholarship. You will notice that the deadlines for these application-based scholarships have passed for this year, so they're no longer available for the entry cycle that is occurring right now. But if you're applying next year, I highly encourage you to apply to the Ozanam Scholars Program. If you're admitted, that comes with an additional $10,000 per year. Again, it can be added to merit scholarship. If you were to receive one of our highest merit scholarships and Ozanam Scholars, that would then get you very close to full tuition scholarship, but not complete. It would leave annual tuition at something like approximately $5,000 per year if you were to receive a combination of our largest scholarships. So this is our annual tuition is approximately $46,500 per year. There are slight increases most years by about literally 1%. So not large increases, but that's why it says estimated, because the number has not been released for the current year. I'm sorry, the coming year, but it will be very, very close to that, if not exactly that number. So again, do not be scared or intimidated by this tuition total, because 95 to 99% of admitted students are receiving at least $10,000 in annual scholarship, reducing tuition to about $36,000. And the best students are receiving $30,000 in scholarship or even slightly more, bringing tuition down to about $15,000 per year. You have to also consider the cost of room and board. That room and board number does include a full meal plan. So you could plan to live in New York on considerably less than this if you were to live off campus or not purchase the meal plan, for example. And so that is my presentation for today. I'm not going to record the Q&A, I don't think, because then there could be issues with sharing the recording afterward in terms of privacy. So if you have questions that don't get answered today, please email me at slons@stjohns.edu. And thank you again for your time and attention today. So.
Thank you.